nice and slow. Your laughter ripples like sweet warm wine. In this jazzy sultry space you're mine. The saxophone croons a velvet tune, while melodies dance beneath the moon. We'll toast to moments both grand and small, in this hazy, lazy, jazz-touched hall. But let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. Your eyes, they sparkle with every click. Sweet rendezvous over a simple drink. We'll share our secrets in whispers low, just you and me where the jazz flows slow. The world outside fades into the mist, but here it's our own dreamy tryst. With each sip our worries drift away. Let's stay together till the break of day. So let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you.
The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where tonight we will get back to a topic we started a few weeks ago. Yeah, you know how my attention span is, and I kind of got a little off on a tangent. But now we're getting back to it. Back to the late 60s to early 80s, I suppose. So buckle up, top off your glasses, tell me what you're sipping on in the chat, and we'll get this Canarble Wagon rolling right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
I guess that happens. I should actually have read the little thing that says, you are muted. Well, anyway.
Take two.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what this stream is. This is take two of the topic.
So you planned that.
Well, yes. Thank you, Netter. So anyway, yes, I'm sipping on a Clark and Sheffield. This is not a sponsored stream, but Clark and Sheffield, you know, I'd be open to it. It's been sitting on ice all week, so you might actually be able to see some frost on the glass. Of course, my glass and whiskey stones have been on ice for, well, since the last drink I had. So here we go. Let me Go into studio mode so I know what the heck I'm doing. And, well, actually, let's just get us into dynamic mode. No, because if I do that, then there's nobody there. How about I just, give me a second here. I'll figure this out. This is how I do it. I'm learning the ropes behind the scenes here, my friends. I'm getting it. Let me get the aged boomer in here. Give me a second, because I still don't have the camera set up the way I want. There we go. Let's get you in here. And aged boomer, how you doing, my friend? And what are you sipping on?
I'm doing fine. I'm sipping on a Coke.
Regular or diet?
Regular.
That's fair. That's
Coca-Cola Classic. Says original taste. High octane?
Yeah. As you know, it's got calories in it. You know, that's high octane in this house.
Yeah, don't drink your calories, they say. Well, that's what I'm doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing too. Actually, I had one little breakfast sandwich this morning. That's all I've had. So I probably should have booze sponged before we got started.
Do you need a puchki?
Maybe a little bit later. So when you went for your Coke, did the Secretary of Health and Human Services knock at your door and say, "Do you really want to drink that? That's got high fructose corn syrup."
No, but maybe they could release some with cane sugar.
That is one of the hopes that the new Secretary of Health and Human Services will kind of push to get companies to stop using high fructose corn syrup. But I think as they do that, they're going to have to work with DOGE that might uncover some of the corn subsidies that have been happening for many decades. So, but I've been very happy with what I've been seeing happening in the economy, and I'm looking forward to making America healthy again. I know. I'm not one to talk, but hey, you know, one can hope. And behind the scenes, we got Netter. You better be nice to her. She's the bouncer, Netter of Netter's Network. How you doing, my dear? And what are you sipping on?
I am doing well. It is Friday. The work week is over, so I get to celebrate
You have earned that adult beverage.
Yes, my adult beverage is a strawberry cream colada with Baileys.
Yep. How is it?
It's actually really good, although the Baileys, I'm not really tasting a lot of strawberry in that. I'm tasting more strawberry in the whipped cream.
Yeah. So if you I did some.
You want to show what it looks like?
Well, it is pink, is what it is.
And those things floating in there are not ice
frozen
cubes.
Strawberries floating in it instead of ice cubes. It's basically half Bailey's strawberry cream, which I bought as a impulse buy, and Malibu coconut rum, 50-50. And then I just thought, you know what? I think it needs some strawberry whipped cream, which I also bought on a impulse. So
along with the puchkis.
And then I got her some punchkis. I guess Mardi Gras must be coming up or something like that, because I saw they had the punchkis out, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So
I think
got three impulse buys.
Yeah, I think he actually got them because he's like, they're chocolate. Netter likes chocolate. Okay, puchkis.
There's that too. There is that element of it too. Let's get to the chat and say hi to all of you wonderful people that have been waiting while I babble.
So we can sip together?
So we can sip together. Let's see. Hail, of course, to Connie Cleary. She was the first one here. I was late getting the stream up because didn't realize this. There's a little bit of a difference in the way you set up streams in EVMux than StreamYard. I used to be able to set up all the streams at once. I have to set them up separately now, which is probably for the best since the description should probably be different. But I set up Boomer's and I hadn't set up mine, so I had to get that going just before the stream, and Connie was the first one to see it pop up. And then, of course, there is Matanui stopping in. He's talking some gaming stuff here, Boomer. You might have better insight on this than I do. Got Virgil in Devil May Cry 5, and he's awesome. I kind of know what Devil May Cry is. Who is Virgil? We've lost Boomer.
Oh, you're there. He's muted.
No, he's not in the green room.
Uh-oh.
But he's still showing on the screen. Well. You know what, guys? Just to be on the safe side, can I get a 5x5? Am I coming through okay? After starting out with being muted, I want to just make sure, you know. And, of course, channel member, the Clue channel. Oh, my Lord, Gen X Part 2? Where is my motherfucking drink? What is your motherfucking drink? I want to know. I didn't say that with the right accent. Motherfucking drink. That's how you said it. So that's how I should repeat it.
That's how some people say it.
Yeah, I got the motherfucking part.
Okay.
Drink I didn't get.
Drawing?
Let me back up now that you're back, Boomer.
Sorry, no, the internet got in flux again. I'm sorry. Okay.
Fair enough. Big Al says 5x5. Thank you, my friend. And Clue is telling me that it's a gray goose. Good on you, mate. Good stuff. Matanui said he got Virgil in Devil May Cry 5, and he's awesome. I kind of know the game Devil May Cry. I know of it anyway. Who's Virgil?
He's another character.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just remember there were naked butts in the last one. In
Oh,
good taste.
heaven forbid.
In good taste.
Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. And of course, Netter's coming in saying, hello, love of my life. I love you too, Netter of Netter's Network. And let's see who else we have here. Yeah, it's Big Al Presents, who just told me we were 5x5. He says, have a great stream, my friends. Hoping everyone is having a fun weekend. Well, this is the start to a fun weekend, right? Bunch of friends getting together, drinking, chit-chatting. On a topic that's not depressing for once. Deleted scenes. Salute, my friend. Good to see you. He says, like, share, subscribe, become a member. Yes. I love when people drop the super chats, but I'm thinking, man, for the price of a super chat, you could be a member for a whole month. But however you choose to support me, even if it's just sharing out the stream, I appreciate it. I really, really do. And Tim Hayes says, I was going to ask, is Michael coming? I don't know. Michael came by just randomly the last time. Kind of took us down a rabbit hole. But we'll see who stops by. I'm still saying hi to everybody. Not sure how long deleted scenes can stay, but he's listening in. Thank you, my friend. That's always, always wonderful. Let's see here. Tim, FKHC 2005, whom we lovingly call Tim, says, is that Netter singing? No, that is not Netter singing. I outsource my music.
He just doesn't want to pay me.
Well, she already gets my whole paycheck. I don't know what the hell more she wants. Jesse Guajardo, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. He says, hey to Netter. Before he says hi to me, probably a good choice, my friend.
Hey, your last paycheck plus my last paycheck went to go pay off the trip we just took.
I know. It was worth it, but it was
totally
expensive.
worth it.
It was.
I will be right back.
A whole lot expensive. Yep. And let's see here. Let's see. Where the heck are
Super chats?
Jesse Guajardo? Woohoo! Drinky drink. Yes, absolutely. Strong language. Piss shit fuck. We're not even 15 minutes in. I've already blown my monetization. I don't know if that's true or not, but
16 minutes in.
Oh, we're 16 minutes in? Okay, good. Okay. Maybe I'm okay. And I think this was back at the beginning. Clue was pointing out I was muted. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I figured it out. Yeah. He's called Age of Boomer, but I'm the boomer here, right?
The next time we go out of town, we're going to need a pet sitter.
Yeah, this is what I got for Netter from Universal.
You got me a pet
Who's
owlie.
what's a jigger? I got her a pet owlie.
Hedwig.
Yes.
Yep, that's right. It is pretty adorable. It's really, really super soft. Here you go, Netter. Is this...
That's the thing. It goes on the shoulder.
Oh, okay.
I just have it flat instead of curved.
Ah, gotcha.
Yes, this is my
it
owlie.
curves? That's kind of neat. Welcome, PitsnipeHusker. Regular here. Thank you so much, my friend. Good to see you. Good evening. If I miss a comment, please drop it again. I'm just trying to get through and make sure I say hi to everyone. I'm on the Barton's Espresso and Creme Brulee Creamer. Fighting liquor for old men. Fair enough. Always good. Whiskey Stones. It's the new kidney stones. Well, they're a lot more enjoyable. Let's put it that way. And Jesse Green 619. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Clue is saying salute to you as well. Let's see. Oh, Clue Channel. Thank you so much. Diet Coke sucks. Salute, Boomer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Diet Coke. Maybe this is the difference between artificial sweeteners, but I do like Coke Zero better. I miss Tab. I got to be honest with you. I miss Tab.
They stopped making it?
Well, we were just talking with Mr. and Mrs. Dadman Walking last night on Netter's Network. Be sure to check that out if you are so inclined. But she was saying that they still have it down by her, so I think it's a regional thing. We don't have it around here anymore, so I guess it'll be a nice treat. Maybe when I go back down south or something, I'll look for it. But
Clue Channel says Diet Coke tastes like sugar and gym sock.
Oh, well, that's descriptive. Thank you very much, Clue. Beware the corn mafia. Yeah, exactly. I was talking about the high fructose corn syrup. Oh boy, that could be a little rough in the neighborhood. Yeah. Again, I'm going to try jumping through a lot of these. Oh, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Thank you so much, my friend. What's up, mother huggers? Which, of course, makes me think of Brandon Herrera, you sexy YouTube mother lovers.
Since I was upstairs, I don't know. Did you get the one the Clue Channel had dropped?
Yep, I just brought that up. Yep. Thank you guys so much. You guys are super, super wonderful. Oh, did you not know about the trip? Yeah, if you go back, was last week?
Yeah, this last week.
Last week's stream, we were talking with Gary Ambrosia and Andy Masterson and this guy here who we hung out with down in Florida for MegaCon in Orlando.
Yeah, we know Agent Boomer's secret identity. Shh.
Well, we knew his secret identity before, but this was the first time we met, like, face to face.
And here's a spoiler. He doesn't really drive a tractor.
Well, the girls think his tractor's sexy, so he keeps putting it in.
Okay, I don't know if you brought up this comment, but I thought this was so sweet. CluuStudio said, there's nothing better than a top-notch lady in your life. I
did comment on that. I said, I know that firsthand. And Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, Hedwig, and welcome. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Let's see. Who else do we got here? We got, the Bosco scenario. He says, well, he's just kind of smiling at me, which would be creepy if it wasn't an icon.
Now, see, I hear Bosco and I think chocolate.
I know, right?
Like, because isn't there a chocolate syrup called Bosco?
There used to be. I don't know if there still is. Yeah.
So, Bosco scenario, you sound yummy.
That sounds a little bit like flirting. Be careful there. Enigma Severus. Hey, only 15 minutes in. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I've already dropped the F-bomb at least once. It happens. It happens, especially when I'm having an adult beverage. And Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Great channel with a lot of content. Definitely, if you're into gaming, check out his channel. Actually, even if you're not into gaming, he does other stuff too. Definitely check him out. Forgive my spelling? No. Spelling is fine if you are writing in the vernacular. You got to write it the way you're saying it. That's absolutely fair.
So, do you know how many times Troy asked me how to spell different words?
Yeah, exactly. Troy,
and if I'm not around, he asks our AI.
So, Clue was just following up on my response to him. He said, "Yep, Troy and I both have top-notch ladies in our lives. I'd be completely unable to function without her. You know, I know we say that deleted scenes is the designated driver. She's the real brains behind this operation, let me tell you, or at least the inspiration." Yep. Pit Snipers is saying to Netter, "Good evening. I'm a be spotty here on the connection for a few minutes with the microwave runs." Well, there you go.
That's like my house.
Appliance issues. Our dishwasher has been out of commission for a little over a month. And it's one of those things where they said they need to order part. It's a Samsung dishwasher. So the guy tells me, okay, it's going to be about 15 days before we get the part in. It'd been over a month. And I'm like, where's this part? You said 15 days. And he goes, oh, I'm just waiting to hear back. Don't know where the part was supposedly shipped to. But he's like, oh, yeah, the shipper will let me know when it's arrived. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be arriving with you? So then, like, a day later, he goes, okay, can I come out he wanted to come out on Wednesday. And I was like, or not Wednesday, Thursday. And I said, no, I'm sorry, I got meetings all day. Can we do Friday? And he goes, sure. So he came out today. Puts in this little tiny motor. Supposedly that fixed it.
Well, we'll see. Otherwise, I'm buying a new damn dishwasher. So Big Al confirms that Bosco is still out there, and Connie seconds that piece of information. So thank you very much. And
now, see, we've had other Samsung things, Gorilla, and like our TV is a Samsung, and it has served us well for.
Well, but it's a plasma, and it does need to be replaced.
Yes, but it has served us well for
the end of the year. You can make that my Christmas gift this year. A new. Well, what's the new thing? It's not plasma anymore. It's LCD, or have they gone past that?
LED.
Something else. LED. Okay.
And then there's OLED, which is fancier, but they come in 4K.
That sounds old to me. I don't know, but there you go. You know what? I love this. This is probably the best comment of the night. I wouldn't be able to function without my Ginny V. There you go. That is awesome. And
call me Shadow swears by plasma, by the way.
Well, that's because he needs injections all the time to stay young. That's a whole other thing. But anyway, let's get on to the discussion here. So we're talking about growing up Gen X. We started a couple weeks. Well, gosh, we're almost going on a month now because we had that whole Orlando thing, and I ate way too much. I drank way too much, but damn, we had a lot of fun.
It was definitely worth it.
That Italian restaurant we went to was pretty good, wasn't it?
Nice restaurant.
Oh,
Scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Bacon cheeseburger burger. It was this really long name with a lot of vowels.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up and see what all was in that because I'm going to try to replicate that.
I know some part of it was deep fried, so cheese.
What was the name of that place? It was like Fish Burger or something like that. Or Fish Cow or something like that. Cowfish. That's what it was. Cowfish. If you look it up, you could probably find it.
Yeah.
See what the description is, and I'll try to replicate them tomorrow. But do
you want me to go over our first 4 topics that we did last time?
You probably should, because I definitely don't remember anything.
Okay.
Netter, that reminds me of my dad's truck transmission problem. We took to a repair shop, and they said it would be ready in 2 weeks. It's been almost 3 months. Yeah.
So first it was
Burgushi. Cheeseburger Burgushi.
Well, I got the burger. I got the brioche bun. I got the cheese. I got to thaw out some bacon. We buy bacon.
Bacon double cheese Burgushi.
Yeah.
Which is a bacon double cheeseburger wrapped up in sushi form. And that it's...
that was the thing you had.
Yeah. And it was like, it had like phyllo paper on the outside of the burger, like cut into slices like sushi, and then deep fried. It was so
Look up
good.
my burger. That's what I want to make.
Oh, the one with the cheese that we have upstairs.
Yep.
Is that what you had at the House of Blues?
No, it was a place called Cowfish.
Cowfish, yeah. No, we didn't go to House of Blues. I figured we got that here. I wanted to go to places I hadn't, seriously, I mean, the House of Blues started here, right?
Oh, that's right.
Welcome, Logical Spark. Yeah. Oh, when I was in college, I used to go to House of Blues all the time. Absolutely.
So,
but Jesse says, "Stop! You're making me hungry." I know, right? I know.
It's like, can I go back? Okay, boom, you're in Florida. Can you go to that place and get some and ship it to me?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Well, he didn't make a 2-hour drive and then mail
3-hour drive. Actually, went on 4 because that wasn't the fault of the drive. That was the traffic. Way back was much smoother. On the way there, though, I had a bad jam I hit into.
You were probably still getting some rush hour traffic at that hour.
I don't know what it was.
Going back, there was nothing.
It was an odd place for there to be a jam too. It was like an hour from where I live, and it was just bad. I don't know why. But let me go over.
Not to get us off topic, but I do want to mention, and I've mentioned this on several streams. Next year, about February or so again, that's when MegaCon is, and right now a lot of the big YouTubers that I was hobnobbing with and pretending I was popular are talking.
They knew your name. Dear.
I know. They're like, hey, you people have been talking about you. What have they been saying? It's probably a lie. Okay. No, it's all good stuff. It's probably still.
I'm looking at their menu, and the reason I remember there being a lot of vowels is the way that they spelled it was, All American Bacon Double Cheeseburger, and then Ushi, so OOSHI.
Okay, so it's burger sushi, burgushi. That's what they're trying to say. Okay.
And I'm looking up yours. Yours was a burger, so yours was. Where are you?
I don't know about popular Clue. I'm infamous.
The Borson Bacon Burger.
Yes,
garlic and herb, Borson cheese, applewood smoked bacon, sautéed mushrooms, grilled onions, lettuce, tomato on an onion roll.
Well, I can skip the tomato, but I got everything else I need, so I'm good.
You can make your Borson bacon burger. I actually bought him Borson cheese just so that he would have it.
Wow.
But not only that, I started thinking, let me try Borson. Let me try blue cheese. Let me try Asiago. So I've got a couple different kinds of cheeses.
But you've had Asiago before. We love Asiago.
Not on a burger, though.
Oh.
With bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon goes with everything.
Well, that's true. Oh, you could even chocolate cover bacon. Come on.
That would be too sweet, I think.
But anyway, we are thinking of going back for the weekend of MegaCon next year, but not actually going to MegaCon unless we're actually doing like supporting somebody at their table or something like that.
Like if I don't know, Snarky J actually gets a table.
Oh, that's something to talk about entirely separately. But
we'll do that though. Yeah.
I did. I said to Netter when she saw hey, look, Snarky J. She saw the sign, and I'm like, she's not here, and I didn't see her anywhere, and I thought naively, I'm like, all these costumers, I'll pick out Snarky J. She'll stand out. She did a bunch of costumes of characters I'd never frickin' seen before. She wasn't in any of her iconic costumes, so I never would have guessed it was her.
Yeah, exactly.
If she did Wonder Woman, I'd have been like, Snarky J as Wonder Woman. Absolutely. In fact, DC, you should cast her in your next movie of Wonder Woman.
Right?
That would be a perfect casting. You know, but whatever.
Who knows who they're going to cast?
They don't even realize she has the acting chops for it too. She
Yeah,
absolutely
I'm sure she
it.
does.
And she would totally buff up. Not that she needs to, but they would probably want it.
And she would make her own costume because she's good at that too.
Yeah, it's like, give her the budget for what you would spend on her costume. Let her friggin' do it, and she'll do better than what your costumers are doing. I've seen the previews for the Superman movie. Just saying.
Did you ever see when she was reading? I think she was reviewing Mandalorian season 3, and she comes out with Baby Yoda, and she says, "I'm sorry, hon, Mama's got to work," and she puts him to the side.
That was good. She did one that it took me a sec. Look, here's the thing. She's a very attractive young lady, but she's like young enough to be my daughter, and that's actually being generous. She could probably be my friggin' granddaughter, right? So no, that's not.
I know.
For me.
Right,
but she did a cosplay of Rogue to talk about some X-Men thing recently.
Yes.
Oh, some dust up in the comics.
Right.
That the now it used to be the Pearl Clutchers were all righties. Now the Pearl Clutchers are all lefties, and they're trying to shut down Rogue and the iconic assets that she has, right? And so she comes out dressed as the classic Rogue from the comics. And if you've ever seen Snarky J, by the way, if you're into comics, you're into cosplay, check out Snarky J's channel. But she does talk about all aspects of
and if you're into beautiful women who actually know what they're talking about with comics,
there is that element of it too.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
If you're into beautiful women who actually know what they're talking about with comics and what have you, and different characters, she's not only, if I was gay, I'd go for her. She's smoking hot. Plus, she knows what she's talking about.
Yes.
So it's like many, many years ago when I was a Motorsports Unlimited girl. It's like these guys would flip through channels. They'd see these girls dressed in these tiny little outfits with feathers in her hair, and they'd stop to look at the girls and then go, wait, they're talking about heliarc welding.
Yeah.
Because we knew what we were talking about.
And she definitely does know what she's talking about. She's got a very strong opinion, one that Boomer and I tend to very much agree with. And so she talks about, she's pissed off about, these people that don't care about the medium coming in and crapping all over, our franchises and destroying them. And after she goes off on this rant about it, so first I got to back up. Her shtick is that she's always in some sort of costume. Usually she's in some sort of costume, especially when it's on brand for what she's talking about. So like if she's talking about Deadpool, she'll come out as Lady Deadpool or whatever. And she'll walk in. She will come from off camera, on camera, sit down in front, and hello all, I'm Snarky J, right? Mm-hmm. She does that every time. She did that as Rogue, and she sits down and she does her rant, and she says, and now, in honor of Rogue and her classic appearance, I'm going to do something I've never done on this channel before. I'm going to do the Snarky J walk away. And she gets up and walks away with the camera obviously focused on her butt, the asset, right?
Yes.
And it took me a second. I'm like, why is she? Oh, I got it. I see. I was a little slow to catch on. But
I said, she's absolutely gorgeous. And if you tune to her channel because she's gorgeous, then start listening because she knows what she's talking about. She is amazing. I love her channel.
I've gone on all this time about another YouTuber, Blue Wrenches. Would someone drop the link for Snarky J?
Let me see if I can find her real quick.
Yes. If you are of the right age and the right inclination, giggity, it would be appropriate for her. Yes, exactly.
I just realized I am not subscribed to her. Well, I am now.
Okay.
Sadly, I've seen that video. Why is that sad? I don't
Sometimes
understand.
YouTube-
That was actually a good video. It's like
Sometimes you can find yourself unsubscribed to people you subscribe to, so always make sure.
that is true. That is
Yes,
absolutely
exactly.
true.
Okay, I've got her link. I am going to drop it into the chat.
Cool.
Snarky J.
Snarky J Cosplay, I believe, is the name of the channel.
But we call her.
I just put Snarky J channel. There you go.
Shwing! Yeah, I've actually forgotten that. But you know what? That's probably a great pivot point to get us back into our
90s discussion.
Commentary. Shwing, that was from
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's
Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent.
You know what was funny about Wayne's World when it came out? Cisco and Ebert reviewed it, and they really liked it. They were saying this is actually highly intelligent. They actually liked the Alice Cooper giving the history of like the local Indian tribes and whatnot.
Oh yeah. And he was spot on with that. He wasn't even wrong about that. And that now I can't remember now if it's the video for Bohemian Rhapsody or if it was the actual scenes from the movie, but they're driving through the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
And they're hitting all of these
iconic spots.
And I knew all of them, and they hit. There is one shot, and I don't think it's there anymore, but back in the day, it was, I want to say it was in Hillside. There was this, I'm actually forgetting, it's been over 30 years now. There was this art piece. There was this area of strip malls, and in the parking lots they had all this like modern art, and one of them was this junk sculpture with like
all the cars.
I'm getting to that. It had this junk sculpture in like a semi-triangle, and it had like these window fans in it that would spin when the wind blew on it. It was kind of an eyesore. But one of the pieces of art that was there was like this giant nail that had like 3 or 4 cars impaled on it.
Yeah, I saw that in the movie, yeah.
It's in the movie. And I'm like, I've seen that many, many times. I've driven by there many times. I know that thing. And so they hit a lot of very iconic Chicagoland sites. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of loving this. And the folks from Saturday Night Live were kind of big on doing that. And that's where that came from. I'm
Dana
not
Carvey,
off topic
Nick
because
Myers,
Dana
Carvey.
and those guys do characters so well.
Oh, yeah.
I that was the last generation of humor on Saturday Night Live. It's just dropped off a cliff after that.
Yeah, what they're considered to be humor is like, really?
It's all political. No, look, they always made political jokes, but it's all one-sided, very mean-spirited, so much so
woke.
that they're really, really pissing off more than
what is it you call it, the Me Too movement or whatever? It's like they're all these youngins that have no clue but are spouting off as if they do.
So this kind of,
it's like you don't know how wrong you are.
This kind of sets the stage for what we're talking about. We are going to get a little back in my day. So
okay, Grandpa.
You youngins, we're going to get a little of that.
So, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days.
Okay.
Tell me about the good old days.
Well, this is not necessarily about the good old days. This was these are the 4 topics we covered so far. Let me go over them real quick. First, we had baby boomers, because it was more about how Gen X were the first generation under the baby boomers. So how
baby boom.
And
this
then
is a song for like everything. Yeah.
Michael had kind of a rant about them. I wasn't necessarily going to go on a rant against boomers because you could probably find things wrong with every generation. But
well, let's face it. He and I. This is why Michael and I are such good friends. We've not only chewed some of the same ground temporally and pop culturally, but we have the same mindset about a lot of things. And he is for example, we're both big Anglophiles. We are both we both romanticize the greatest generation, the World War II era, and so forth. Real quick, want to say hi. I just saw, I don't know if you were here earlier. I hope I didn't miss you. DJ Play Nice. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. But yeah, Michael and I are very simpatico on a lot of this stuff. And actually, my mother would fall into the boomer generation, right?
Right.
If we assume that, actually, boomer, do you boomer?
Yes.
Do you still have the stats on the age ranges? Because somebody asked us that last night on Netter's Network.
I don't have it in the presentation, but I have it on my laptop. I can read it off to you real quick.
Yeah, do that, because it does matter. So, and keep in mind, everybody, that this is not like chiseled in stone. Different sites kind of have a sliding scale on this.
Okay, this is the one you gave me. I'm going to read it off now.
Go ahead.
Listening. Lost Generation, 1883 to 1900.
If there's any of them alive, God bless them.
That was Hemingway would talk about. They called us the Lost Generation. Remember that? That was a famous Hemingway line, I think.
Yeah, Hemingway didn't last
before
long.
my time.
Okay.
What's
19...
that was before my time.
Okay.
It was before your time. Yeah, absolutely.
1901 to 1927, Greatest Generation, also known as the GI Generation.
Right. So these are the ones that saw World War I and World War II.
Okay.
Think about that. Think about a generation that lived through 2 world wars.
They were young enough. Yeah, they would have. Yeah.
Folks, those of you that don't remember at least Vietnam, you don't know war. You don't. Where you had a whole generation of men, it wasn't women at all, it was just men who could receive a card in the mail that said you need to show up to do military service.
Right.
You're going to war, my friend.
Draft.
And there are only certain exemptions. Like my brother couldn't serve. He was never drafted because he was an epileptic. So if you had something like that
would
going
be,
on.
If you had a medical situation that kept you out of the military, that was 4F.
That and flat feet for some reason.
Well, because you can't march and you can't walk long distances.
I didn't know flat feet was a thing.
Yes. And not as much anymore with arch support and
would that be a problem for the Air Force?
Well, keep in mind in the Air Force, very few that are in the Air Force actually get to be pilots. Most of them are technicians and support services. Okay. They still, are on the ground full time.
All right.
Yes, zoomies is what they're called.
So that
zoomie whoosh whoosh.
But what I was getting at is, chat. Of course, I think everyone in the chat has seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life, right? George Bailey was 4F because of his ear, right? Yes. If you had any kind of medical issue, and this was considered to be, if you were called for selective service and drummed out, is how they colloquially called it, 4F, you kind of felt like you didn't measure up.
Yeah, like you were
felt
a failure.
like, you needed to do something. So that's why it says George Bailey, served in the, what was it? It wasn't the Rotary. I forget what it was, but he did everything he could on the home front, where he made sure everyone put their lights out, at sundown. See, again, a different mentality. The boomers had to think about, the greatest generation had to think about this. If you live in a city, right?
Air raid warden.
What is it?
He was an air raid warden.
Air raid warden. Thank you very much.
I still got my Google Fuel, even though I am pretty wasted right now because this drink is kind of heavy.
Oh my goodness!
I really fun after this stream. Yeah. Boomer, you might have to end this stream. Yeah, no. You'll see this in old Bugs Bunny cartoons, right? Put out that light.
Yes.
The idea was that after sundown, you didn't want to have your lights on if you were concerned about, or if you were in a place where you were worried about an air raid. If there's an attack, of bombers attacking the mainland, they're going to look for lighting.
Right. So you needed blackout curtains, or you need to not have your lights on.
Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly right. That was huge in England,
where my mom was in 1925 when she was born.
Yep, where they had a lot of shelter-in-place kind of situations.
My mom told stories about walking around as a 4-year-old with a gas mask.
She lived through the Blitz.
Wow.
Again, the greatest generation.
Okay.
During the Blitz in the UK, you literally were getting bombed by the Luftwaffe.
Now, if her mother was a child, though, she might not have been greatest generation. She was probably silent generation / lucky few, born 1928 to 1945.
Okay.
Mom was born in 1925.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's greatest then. Never mind. She was greatest.
So, yeah.
She was the greatest mom ever.
She was.
My parents were silent generation. I don't know why they call them the lucky few. I guess because they avoided the wars, but they still served. My dad served in the military.
Because of her age and the fact that she had so many children, Netter was the youngest of all of them. And
I only had 5 kids.
And Netter is older than I am. I was a little concerned when I met Mama LaFrance. I wasn't sure how she was going to, and she was just, you know what? You're good to my daughter. She likes you. I like you. I'm like, I like you.
Actually,
I gotta say, that's, for all the jokes that people make about mothers-in-law, I liked my mother-in-law. I really did.
So I can imagine that silent generation, they had to fight Korea, so I don't know if I call them that lucky.
Well, I'm thinking silent movies. Wasn't silent movies around that era?
Silent movies were up until help me out, folks, somewhere in the 30s, right?
No, I don't know.
When they made the transfer over.
I think around that time they were moving over to sound. I don't know. The Jazz Singer was the first sound picture, so you have to look up the Jazz Singer. That's how you know.
Al Jolson, the Jazz Singer. What year was that?
Alexa, what year did the Jazz Singer with Al Jolson come out?
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated.
Yes.
The Jazz Singer is a 1927 film directed by Alan
Alexa, stop. Thank you.
So 1927 on was taught.
Yes. I mean, they were probably still making some silent pictures, but it was probably moving over to talking. Now,
speaking of silent films, I want to do a quick plug for Midnight's Edge. Go check them out. They have a new channel, and I'm forgetting if someone wants to drop a link. Help me out, guys. They did a great re-release of, they upscaled Nosferatu. And corrected the color tinting on that. Definitely check that out. Speaking of, God bless you, silent films. But yeah, God bless you, Greatest Generation saw talking films. I'm just thinking about my mother-in-law. Saw silent films.
Retrospective 4K, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes. Which is pretty impressive, 4K, for an old silent film. They saw 2 world wars, Korea, Vietnam, plus all the other police actions we did, whatever. They lived through the stock market crash. God bless you.
Goodness. Sorry, I don't know why I'm sneezing so much.
It's all right.
No problem. Do you need some tissues?
No, I got some by me.
Okay.
Okay, there's the link that Troy was talking about.
Thank you, Netter. And I don't know, part of the reason we call them the Greatest Generation is because depending on how you break it up, you got the silent generation, whatever. I'd never heard of that. I assumed it went from greatest generation to the boomers because
No.
after World War II. Yeah, I know.
My parents were silent generation. They're not some missing generation. They existed.
Well, they're silent. But the whole idea of the boomers was that after World War II, look, after World War II, you got your boys coming back, the girls that waited for them, or the girls they found. There's a lot of shagging going on because, let's face it, this is the response to you see a lot of death, you want to bring life into the world. So we had a huge influx of babies being born immediately 9 months after the end of World War II.
So that's baby boomers from 1946 to 1964.
Which my mother and father fall into.
Okay, so that means if baby boomers are up to 1964...
that was not necessary, but thank you so much, Nate, who says, for $2. Bless you, Netter.
Thank you. I don't know why I'm sneezing so much. I usually sneeze twice, and that's about it.
All right.
So if boomers go up to 64, that means I'm a boomer because...
Okay.
I'm going to reveal
I'm
my age
married
here.
to a
I was
boomer.
born in
I'm
1962.
Okay.
I think, though, that those...
I'm having a punchki.
Punchki.
I'm drunk. Leave me alone.
All right. Let's move
Being
along. I
drunk is
got to
an
work in the
awful
morning. Okay. Anyway. Gen X, 1965 to 1980, another forgotten generation that people think don't exist, much like the silent generation. Okay.
So, if you were born 1965, you're not going to remember much of the 60s.
Right.
I was born in 71. I don't remember the early 70s.
Okay.
But I don't know. There's a lot of confabulation that happens because I was born in 71 and I'm a big history file. So I have gone back and looked at history, and I remember, I don't think I actually remember, but I know the history of, for example, Nixon leading into Reagan, leading into Carter, leading into Reagan. And I think I've confabulated a lot of memories of Nixon, but yeah. Okay. Guys, you don't need to give away your ages here. But Jesse is 1990.
Okay.
Tim Hayes is 1970. Yeah, so we have a lot of Gen Xers here. Okay. We got 7. Oh, Jesse. 1976. That was the year my brother was born. I appreciate that.
Okay, but Deleted Scenes put 73. I'm like, dude, I know you're not 73 years old.
No, 1973.
I know, but
he's 2 years younger than I am.
He's 73 since when?
So millennials, also known as Generation Y, are 1981 to 96. Zoomers, also known as Generation Z, is 1997 to 2012. Generation Alpha, early 2010s to mid 2020s. They not have a date. I'm sorry, what?
I'm shocked that we're that far along, but yeah, I get it.
Okay, that's it. Generation Beta just started this year. That's the worst name for a generation. I feel bad for them.
Wait, Nate, I'm confused. You say 1971, which means you're the same age as I am, and yet your nomenclature is Geek Flag with Nate Knows 1973. Yeah. What happened in 1973 that's part of your name?
Okay.
I'm confused, man.
All right.
But,
okay.
But so what we're really looking at is late 60s, all the 70s, and like the early 80s is Gen X.
Yes.
I am going to refrain from saying anything derogatory of any generation after us, but just keep in the back of your mind there is a certain, you kids don't understand. That's kind of the theme of tonight, in a way. At least from my point of
view. Okay.
Wait a minute. I doubt that's true, but this is so funny. That's his pin.
All right. Anyways, let's move on.
1973 is a more important year because that's the year the love of your life was born. There you go,
the sweetest thing.
There you go.
All right. Anyway, so let's go on. We covered last time baby boomers, Gen X views on the baby boomers. We covered brand conscious, very brand conscious generation. Nerd, how being a nerd wasn't fun. I forgot what the other one was. Okay.
Yeah, this is.
Move on.
Wait a minute. Let me make one comment on that real quick.
Yes.
The whole nerd culture has become very popular.
Yes, it was not popular
just
back in the day.
have fun.
Nerds just want to have fun. Right. And it's very popular for, hot, sexy people like, what's his name that played the Man of Steel?
Yeah, I'm full.
Henry Cavill
to be a nerd. Right? But the reality was, back in the day, back in Gen X, the nerds were the ones that wore the glasses, that weren't very popular.
Revenge of the Nerds. I'm not in R yet. But
yes, we're going to have to do a rewatch of Revenge of the Nerds. Actually, Nutter, can you order that for us on Amazon?
We don't have it?
We don't have it.
You got to be kidding me.
Anyway.
What's that word you use? Schwooten? You got to be schwooten
I'm schwooten you. Yeah, no, I'm not schwooten you.
The fourth thing we covered was a childhood without cell phones or the internet.
That is true.
And,
that is true. We did not have
kids
either
on bikes playing outside, and you were saying, it's when it gets dusk, you come home, that sort of thing. And then, of course, I had a little picture of a child on a milk carton too. So that was another.
Anyway, that's the way it was when I was growing up. If the streetlights came on, you went home.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Some of what you can say about Gen X, you can say about previous generations as well. Obviously, if we didn't have cell phones, they didn't have cell phones. Just
gotcha.
Yes, but we had payphones, which the generation today wouldn't even know how to use.
And you see them in movies sometimes.
All right. So I now want to bring the presentation in here, and hopefully
go for it.
Sober enough to not mess up. Let's see what happens.
Do the thing.
Is it there? It's in the editor room.
Let me help you out here. I think this. There we go. And let's get you in there. Nope, that's Netter. I didn't want to. Hi, everybody. Yeah. Netter, can you still hear us?
I can still hear you.
Okay, I didn't want to mess you.
I don't know if anyone can hear me if you kicked me out, but yeah.
No, I don't think I kicked you out. Well, you're coming through my mic, so that's always the way.
Ready.
That's true.
Are we ready for part 2?
There we go. That should do it.
Okay. Part 2. Next slide.
Shrink us down a little bit.
Shrink us down. Like the Incredible Shrinking Woman. Remember that movie?
Yes.
Lily Tomlin, yes.
Galaxy Glue, remember?
And the Incredible Shrinking Man.
You guys gotta.
And honey, I shrunk the kids, so we got the whole family here, all shrunk.
Right. You got, Netter and Boomer, you need to remind me. I think we should really do a rewatch of the Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Shrinking Woman. Remember the Galaxy Glue song?
I vaguely do, and I didn't know that was from that. Galaxy Glue. Yeah.
So I think I do next slide in live preview, correct? Or is it an editor? I guess I'll find out.
If I know. You actually know more about this
Well,
than
we're
I
going to
do.
find out. Do you see what's on the screen there, chat? What does it say? Did I
It
spell
says
it?
arcades.
Do you know what an arcade
Oh,
is?
God. I used to love arcades. Yes.
Look at this.
Yep.
Was this you?
I did not hang out in arcades. I have to admit.
What?
I did.
My experience with arcades was twofold. It wasn't arcades. It was video games, consoles that were in like diners and bowling alleys.
Standalone
like
video
that.
games.
Yes. And Showbiz Pizza. That was the closest I got to an arcade.
Okay. So
And that was usually for birthday parties.
This was a huge deal.
Am I going to bother anybody if I eat a donut on stream?
Eat the donut.
I probably need a booze sponge.
You need a booze sponge. You need a Monte Cristo sandwich. I'm kidding. Don't eat that on stream.
Oh, dude.
No, that would be disgusting.
Damn it, man. You had to bring that up.
Why?
Damn it.
No. Anyway, named after the Count of Monte Cristo, I'm sure. Anyway, I know what an arcade is, especially because of Peter Piper Pizza. I mean, they still exist in this country. Actually, what became popular, at least prior to the pandemic, were these things called arcade bars, where bars would get old arcade machines, and you could usually play for free, and you drink while playing the arcade games. That was becoming a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that died because of the pandemic, though, but that was a thing back in the last decade.
Yeah, it may not have survived the pandemic, but we in the Chicagoland area had Dave and Buster's. That was basically that. Yeah.
Oh, Tim Hayes is bringing up Chuck E. Cheese. Remember Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, did I say Showbiz? Showbiz was bought up by Chuck E. Cheese. They were basically the same thing. Just they acquired the characters. Yeah.
I remember I went to a kid's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and one of the party favors we got is the mom gave us all a token. And I'm like, why didn't I bring a cup? Why didn't I get my parents to give me a couple bucks so I get more tokens? I played Food Fight, died. I played Food Fight, and I died very quickly. Remember Food Fight, the game?
Oh, yeah.
I love Food Fight. Look, I went to several birthday parties. I can't remember if I had one at Showbiz. I can't remember. But part of the birthday package was that every attendee got a cup of tokens. Was
That's
how
nice.
it went. And honestly, I was in the middle of playing games, going around with this cup of tokens, and I looked at my mom and I'm like, holy crap. This is Las Vegas for kids. He's like, yup.
The interesting thing about arcades is, I'm not going to say they died out completely in the United States, but they definitely kind of fell off. But in Japan, they're still popular. They still have arcades.
I would argue that the thing that kind of, maybe not directly, but indirectly killed arcades was the home consoles.
You think that, but then they were, and maybe that was true, because of course you get ports of Mortal Kombat. Actually, it's funny. There's one guy I was watching on a channel how they show him. He's playing his Mortal Kombat arcade machine. Okay, gotta go home now. And he puts Mortal Kombat like 3 or 2 in the Sega Genesis. Like, yeah. See, back in the old days when you would play at the arcade all day and then you'd go home and play a worse version of the game you played at the arcade.
Right.
But because he was a big Mortal Kombat guy. But I remember
arcades. But
arcades.
as time went on, the games got better and better.
Yes. And the funny thing is, in Japan, our arcade games are still popular. But the interesting how Japan...
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Clue Channel.
Yes.
This is the problem with the way the chat works. If you disagree with me, you got to tell me what you disagree with. Because I've said a lot of shit lately, and I don't know what it is you're disagreeing with.
CluuStudio. SNES purposely made Street Fighter 2 sub-part of the arcade version. Well, the thing, too, I remember back in the day, Street Fighter 2 comes out on the SNES, but then in the arcades you had Champion Edition and Hyper Fighting came out, and these were superior versions of the one you just got on the SNES. So Capcom was keeping up with that.
Well, but then again, I think about Mortal Kombat. When that came to the home...
Finish him.
When I played that one with my stepson, he was pissed because I kept playing Liu Kang, and I would kick the shit out of him.
Okay.
And honestly, it wasn't because I knew the secret
Yep.
moves. I just mashed the buttons, and I would just kick the shit out of him. He's like, "Oh, it's no fair. I don't get to." And I'm like, "Hell, you get better, man."
Liu Kang was eventually killed in the series because I think the creators realized that this is too easy a character to play as. He kept everyone who played him could always beat everybody else, so they murdered him in Mortal Kombat Deception. He got his neck snapped by the evil shape-shifting sorcerer, I think.
So all of the good aligned characters wanted to avenge him, right?
I think so, but he comes back as a zombie in a later game. Like his head is rolling around.
Crap!
And now there's been
Jeez.
time travel shenanigans, so now he's back. But for a while he was dead in the series. So.
But yeah, arcades were, look, let's face it, for the older kids, it was a very social. Look, if you want to understand the arcade, check out Terminator 2, check out Stranger Things. You know, that's a great look into the arcade.
I just bought Nerds.
Terminator 2.
Are you talking about the movie or the candy?
It's a double feature. The Bachelor and Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, I love The Bachelor. I love The Bachelor.
There you go.
That's my favorite, and I don't even like Tom Hanks anymore, but that's my favorite Tom Hanks film.
Anyway, look at this. This is from Terminator 2, remember? This is a scene. This is Skipperman.
That's exactly.
Yes.
See, I was. You and me, very simpatico. Yes.
That is little John Connor, and he's in I believe it's an Afterburner arcade machine by Sega. This was like Top Gun, kind of like a Top Gun style arcade game where you're actually flying around with the
console. These consoles were. This is going to sound weird. They were no different than the stand-up consoles, but sitting in them felt immersive. And this was why I believe the Star Wars game, the first Star Wars arcade game, was so popular, because it was this kind of a sit-in kind of a thing.
I'll have to send you a video of this guy visiting the arcade in Japan, and they actually had one of the old Star Wars arcade games in it. He got very excited because he hadn't seen one of those in years. But the interesting thing about the arcades in Japan is, though, you don't stand up, you sit down when you play the arcade games over there.
Yeah.
And they're all in these units that are kind of interchangeable, where you can swap out the arcade games in each unit, whereas over here in the States, it was more like each cabinet was specialized for that particular game. Do you understand? Whereas in Japan, it was more like you would just switch the game out, put another one in there.
Wait a minute. Yeah. I gotta interrupt you. Nate says, we know Netter's drunk because she pronounces her words like a little girl.
Oh my.
Guys, I am married to her. She does that randomly all the time.
All
Just
right.
saying.
Now, look at
No,
this.
but I am rather drunk right now.
I done good then with that drink.
I don't know what you put all in there. You said you didn't use as much alcohol.
No, I didn't say that. I said I went with more Baileys than I did with the...
so you added more alcohol than it said.
No, it was all alcohol no matter how I made it. Even RoboCop 2 movie had arcade rooms.
Yes, it did. And the interesting thing about that scene was, though, I believe that there were quite a few Data East games in that arcade scene. Data East, of course, made the famous Burger Time game, but they also made the RoboCop arcade game. So it's kind of funny seeing a lot of Data East games in that RoboCop scene. But they also made Bad Dudes. Data East made a lot of...
Keep in mind that for all the games that had sit inside consoles and stand-up consoles, there were also the tabletop consoles.
Okay, wait.
And
For
those
these
were
arcade
big in
games,
bars.
I ruled Space Invaders.
It's a good one.
You are pretty
That
good
was
at
my
Space
game.
Invaders.
I was okay with Pac-Man, but I only knew like the first like 3 or 4 scenarios. After that, it's like I didn't know them. But Space Invaders, I ruled that. That was my game.
I actually love this. PitsnipeHusker says arcade games were a godsend. My mother, aunties, and grandmas were
Shopping.
shopping fools,
Okay.
and following them around sucked. Dropping us at the mall arcade became the norm. So I can't relate to that exactly, but on when my grandmother came to, so in the Chicagoland area, my grandmother used to spend the winters with us because she lived in Ohio at my uncle's marina, but marinas, as you can imagine, are seasonal. So during the winter, she'd come and stay with me and my mom, and she'd take me out. Usually, on the weekends, we'd go get lunch at the Hillside Square Mall. We did a talk one time about malls.
And Grandma was awesome.
Grandma was. Never got to meet her. That's true. And she would take me to Woolworth, to the lunch counter there, to get bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches.
Yes, you mentioned this, and you would play Space Invaders.
I did tell this story, yes.
Okay, so I dropped the link to classic games that you could play for free in the chat. And it's like playing the same games. The only difference is, unless there's some way that you can hook up a game controller thingy to your computer or whatever, you got to figure out how you do it on your keyboard.
Yes.
But these are Centipede and Space Invaders and all the classic games that we used to play for free.
These are perfect ports. They really are.
Go.
So check them out. It's free.
Now, I do want to bring something up here. You see this young man in the picture here. The media, for some reason, decided to throw video games in with nerd culture, which I never understood. Maybe computer games were nerd culture, but I don't think that. But I'm telling you, the arcade games, this was never nerd culture. This guy would probably kick your ass if you tried getting in front of it in the arcade game. Okay, this is not.
Yeah, you make
this
a
was
great
not
point.
a nerd hobby. I never understood why they said it was.
This
okay,
was. I feel like Gen X was the transition period. So nerds in the 50s, check out Back to the Future and whatnot.
Right.
And nerds in the, Gen X era.
Yeah.
There was a shift.
Right.
The jocks, the tough guys, the popular guys were starting to get into things that nerds kind of were into. That's where you start seeing them showing up at arcades and those kinds of things. As you go forward,
now you have Jason Momoa playing D&D, basically.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, I was going to say role-playing games.
Yeah. Okay.
What's his name? Superman guy that I keep forgetting his name.
Henry Cavill building his own
Henry Cavill and Warhammer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The big, popular, tough guys starting to get into what was previously considered nerdy things. To the point that now what we would consider nerdy is popular, and there's a lot of nerds that are going, F all of you people,
Exactly. But, no, nothing against Henry Cavill or any of them. I don't think they ever picked on. I mean, I'd like to think he didn't pick on nerds growing up or anything.
No, I don't think he did, but he's the type that would have been the popular type of guy.
Well,
right?
He was literally Superman for a while. Let's be honest.
No kidding. And for all the problems I had with Man of Steel, his casting was not one of them. Yeah. Outlaw Bill, welcome, my friend. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. But
taking over the arcade was a thing.
Yeah, I've heard that. There's a wonderful movie, an anthology horror movie called Nightmares, which you almost get a throwdown scene in it with Emilio Estevez because he's cheating out some gang members of their money because he's pretending to be a newbie at an arcade game and he's really an expert and he's trying to win money to go play other arcade games because he's got an addiction problem to video games. It was a fascinating little movie.
When I went to Woolworth with my grandmother, she'd give me quarters to go play Space Invaders. You repeated this story for me. Thank you. Yes. And if there was a bunch of bigger kids there, they'd already have their quarters already lined
stacked up.
And I wasn't getting anywhere near that. That's kind of why I ended up getting my Atari 2600. My grandmother kind of vouched for the situation I had, and she says to my mom and my Uncle Richard, she's like, he goes, with me to lunch, and he can't even play the arcade games because the big kids have, their quarters all lined up, and he can't get at it. Let's get him the home console. Atari 2600 wasn't the same thing, but it was the end, so yeah. There you go.
Space Frog remembers Nightmares. I may have to force Troy to do a rewatch of this one of these Mondays. If I get a chance, I'll sit with him because this is going to have to happen.
To do a rewatch of what?
Nightmares. You don't even know what that is, do you?
I don't.
Oh my goodness!
But I do want to, as long as you're still on this picture, I do want to point out the ginger kid who was John Connor's buddy,
friend, yeah,
sporting the classic mullet hairdo of the Gen X.
Yeah, no, they tried pushing that on me too. I think I tried it once.
Dude, I had one. Mine was a little different. I didn't have the
I had the spiky hair. That's what I did for.
I didn't have the spiky hair on top. I had the pompadour on top, but then I grew it out long. And honestly, I didn't like it long, so I ended up eventually cutting it into a DA, and I was much happier for it.
See, I did the spiky hair. I didn't do the mullet part. Yeah.
Yeah. Shorter in the back rather than a mullet? Absolutely.
A DA is just a slightly shorter mullet.
Okay.
Well, okay, yeah.
We're moving on from arcades.
Okay.
I loved arcade.
And like I said, Netter, if you ever get a chance, go to an arcade bar sometime, but it'll be a fun time for you.
Well, no, Netter and I have gone, when we were dating anyway, we went to Dave & Buster's. So, yeah.
Okay, right.
Freddy Krueger.
This
very specific character you pull out.
I just threw that in there. Gen X, Freddy Krueger. Let's do it.
Because honestly, you could have gone with Jason.
No, too obvious.
You could have gone with Leatherface.
No.
Hell, you could have gone with the Hell Priest.
When I think of 80s horror icons, I know people go to Jason, but I think of Freddy Krueger. And not necessarily because he's my favorite. Can I say one thing before you get into this? Yes.
Freddy Krueger was played by
Robert Englund.
Robert Englund. Most of us that are Gen X remember him as Willie from the TV miniseries V.
I remember him on V.
He was a very different character. He was
a good guy on that.
A very good guy, very sensitive type character, very likable, very lovable. So when we saw him as Freddy Krueger, it was like, I'm having a real hard time being afraid of him. Yes, I see him eviscerating people and killing them in their dreams, but this is Willie. I'm sorry. He's a good guy.
What's interesting is I saw V after Freddy Krueger because I can think they did a repeat of it on TV, and all the kids were like, "Wait a minute, that's the guy that played Freddy Krueger. He looks."
That's a great point.
It was like a reverse thing because I was younger, so it was like a reverse for us.
And that's just the point. If you missed it the first time around, there
showed up a few years later. Yeah,
there was no streaming. There was no physical media at the time. You had to wait until they showed it on TV again. Yeah.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I remember.
Yeah. And then the tongue coming out of the phone. Oh, the phone, which was a landline phone. That was very time sensitive too.
Hold on. I think I have a picture of that somewhere. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Yes. See, you and me simpatico, my friend.
He has a built-in back scratcher.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. I funny enough, I was late to the party on these. I saw part two first because a friend of mine rented it, or his mom rented it for Halloween. And I remember the scene where he's at the pool party and Freddy comes out and he goes, "You're all my children now." Remember that scene? Just
You know, we're going to have to do a revisit on this, maybe a good old days or something like that. I'm going to have to do some rewatches of this.
okay.
I have, you know how I am. I have all of them on DVD, but
I have a collection of them too. Yeah, which
I have
need to go
not
through.
yet seen Freddy's Nightmare and Beyond.
I've seen clips from a ton of them, and I would catch
I
them
take
on
that
TV.
back. I did see the remake. It friggin' sucked.
Look, yeah, I didn't bother with the remake, but look at this though, man. Look at all the weirdness here, man.
There was a lot of weird. Well, this was a film that got the whole dream logic,
yes.
and it made a lot of sense. Honestly, I know it's going to sound bizarre, especially to deleted scenes if he's still in the chat, but the whole understanding dreams from Nightmare on Elm Street very much plays into the Lynchian understanding of dreams. If you understand translating dreams to film, there you go.
A place where I mentioned this from too. I think this is from the scene because I remember at my friend's Halloween party we were watching, and like I think he's like on top of his girlfriend, and then the Freddy tongue comes out or something.
Yeah.
And of course, his mom was getting all upset in the room. It's like,
that's the other thing you got to remember about these movies. They were very back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Horror films were very sexual. You had a lot of topless girls.
Might get to
you
see
had
some,
a lot of
especially
sex,
especially in the slasher movies. Yeah, it's
yeah.
That was part of the reason you went to go see them. But Johnny Depp,
you're not wrong there, right?
Oh, that's right. PitsnipeHusker. Johnny Depp was the boyfriend sucked into the bed, and then his then
he gets
sprayed
pulled
up
into the bed.
blood.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was in the first one. I know Wes Craven did the first one. He didn't really do the sequels. I think the sequels sometimes get a bad rap because they got interesting. I don't know.
They did.
You like that? Him coming out of the TV with the antenna on his head?
It was weird, but I loved the idea. Look, especially when you look at it through the prism of dream logic, it kind of puts you into the headspace of the victim, right? Why are they what are they afraid of? What is Freddy tapping into? What is their mindset that is bringing up these dreams? Look, I'm a 50-plus-year-old dude who's had a lot of years of dreams that I've been analyzing, and I'm pretty good at it. I pretty much understand why I dream what I dream. You know, just saying.
Yeah, I know Outlaw Bill. People do not like this movie. It's considered the black sheep of the series Nightmare on Elm Street 2. But it was the first one I saw, so I'm sympathetic.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
But look at this. This was we're getting a little D&D action in here. Wasn't there
this was the third
kid in the wheelchair,
movie.
And then
I believe it was the Dream Warriors. I believe it was.
Like this kid was into role-playing games, remember?
Yes.
And he would get like and when he was in the dream, he was actually trying to use his magic powers against Freddy Krueger, and it was working for a bit, wasn't it? I mean,
so this was the Dream Warriors tapped into the whole idea of lucid dreaming,
right?
The idea that, and it was kind of implied by the previous films, this idea that once you realize you're dreaming, you can have a degree of control, and if you really understand that you're dreaming, you have almost complete control. The problem is that Freddy is able to look into your subconscious and knows. It's kind of like the whole poltergeist thing. It knows what scares you, right? He knows what your weakness is, and he uses it against you. It's a very
How do you use chocolate against me?
Well,
that's my weakness.
That's your weak. No. I don't mean weakness in that regard. I mean weakness in what you're afraid of. What your insecurities are, right? So, for example, there's the one girl who is struggling with addiction, and his for his razor blade fingers become yes, they become needles, injection needles.
That was what's her name? Yeah, I remember that.
So he knows what scares you. He knows what your weakness is.
Right.
He uses it against you. It's a very Faustian, very, very Luciferian kind of thing.
But deleted scene said he liked New Nightmare. To be fair, New Nightmare was one where Wes Craven came back to direct it.
Honestly,
And,
I haven't even gotten there yet. I need to watch.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but it takes place. It's about the making of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and then you find out, oh no, they're making these movies because Freddy Krueger actually is a demon, and they have
it's very much breaking
the fourth wall. He said
I don't know if it's the fourth wall. Or, it borders on breaking the fifth wall. Yeah.
How Scream was sort of like a horror movie where the audience is participating in what's going on. The New Nightmare is about the people who production people, how they're getting now involved in the horror. So it was
right where you have Robert Englund playing himself.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah,
I actually think that's a brilliant idea for a film. When you get that far into a franchise, it's totally worth it.
I remember this scene where he's in the diner and he orders a pizza and he says, "Oh, you little meatball." And one of the teens, he's like, "No." And then you see him devouring the meatball. And I'm like, the guy's face, I'm like, oh, he's eating his soul.
Literally eating souls. Yeah. That's exactly how it plays. Exactly right.
I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. In the 80s, especially as we get toward the later 80s, horror movies started going from the realistic to the really paranormal out there stuff.
Keep
there
in
was
mind,
some weird stuff happening.
You could get away with a whole lot more because horror films back in the 80s were rated R. Yep. Now they keep pushing everything into PG-13.
They're better at the horror movies than they were now. They were getting R-rated again, but yeah, for a while it was in PG-13 horror movies. Yeah.
Look, you need to show not tell is my thought on it, and there's some gross out things, but sometimes those are helpful to the story. If you're going to make it PG-13, suddenly you can't show certain things, you can't say certain words, and it becomes sanitized in a way that makes it very difficult. And I honestly believe that's why they go for the cheap out jump scares. And it's like, this is just weak sauce. Take us back to R-rated. If you're not old enough to get, the shit scared out of you, maybe you shouldn't be seeing these films.
Did you know that when they were making The Conjuring, the first one, they were aiming for a PG-13, but they still got turned down and got an R because it was too scary. I thought that was interesting.
Well, and therein lies part of the problem with The Conjuring, because look, some of the R-rated films seek the R rating, and they're like, I put violence and language in to make sure I get the R rating, and they end up sometimes a little bit better for it. If you're trying for a PG-13 and get an R rating, it's a weak ass R rating.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll say this for the first Conjuring. If you think about it, I don't think anybody dies in the movie except for the dog.
Well,
the dog is found. Yeah. That's it. That's the extent of it.
That should be enough to give it an R rating.
When he did Conjuring 2, he figured it's going to be R rated, so it's a bit more violent than the first one. If you saw it.
So I know that most of the people in the chat already know this, but I'm going to cover this again real quick. The real reason that studios go for PG-13 over R is because they figured they can get more younger,
the teens,
13 to 18-year-olds, where I personally think commit to the R rating and get more 17 and over.
The teens are going to sneak into the R-rated movie anyway. They always do.
That's true. Some theaters do not enforce that. There's no obligation to enforce it.
I stuck into one of those movies once. Yeah. It was with 3 or 4 of my friends.
Do you remember the movie?
No, this was back when I was 14.
I know it was the Blue Lagoon. No, I don't know.
God, I love that movie.
But it was like the box office was like, you can't come into this movie unless you have permission from your parent. So we walked down like 2 storefronts to a barbershop and asked the barbershop guy if he would write a note saying he was our dad and we had permission to go. So he wrote a note. We brought that back to the theater and they let us in to see some movie. And I don't remember what it was because the stupid guys I was with started like laughing at boobies. And so they kicked us out. And it's like, great. Now I don't know anything about the movie because you guys had to be stupid and laugh at boobs.
I'm going to ask you about this again later, Netter. I want to know what this movie was now.
Well,
I don't remember the movie. I really don't.
Remember, but let's
I just remember that there was a lot of female frontal nudity, so there was like boobs showing a lot on the screen.
Yeah,
well, I have to watch this movie for research.
The younger generations can't relate to this. 70s and 80s films had a lot of great nudity in it, even at PG-13. We've talked about that. Prior to PG-13, films like Airplane had nudity in them.
Clash of the Titans had some nudity.
Clash of the Titans. It was PG, straight on PG. So you didn't have to be 13 or older to get into those movies.
So we're moving on to our next topic.
Why did that last slide make me want Swedish meatballs?
Because it was a meatball.
Yeah.
With the guy's face on it, but it was on a pizza. It's like a meatball pizza.
Yeah, meatballs don't belong on pizza. That needs to be Italian sausage with the anise seeds.
I don't know. There's a local pizza chain in my area where I can get a pizza called the Italian, and it comes with old roll pepperoni, the sausage with the seeds in it, like you said, and meatballs, all 3. So I sometimes get that.
Okay, if you have pepperoni and Italian sausage, honestly, that's fine if you want to add ground beef to it, but that's kind of overkill and unnecessary. But that's probably the way to add it if you want to add it. Yeah.
So everyone's gonna yell at me because Jessica Hardo saying the music of the 80s. Yeah, there's some of that, but it's mostly 90s. Let's move on. Music was very important to generation.
Let me tell you, I was
Prince,
this close.
Okay.
I was this close to doing a song for tonight's stream. I didn't do it because I ran out of time. But dude, you guys don't even realize how big a Prince fan I am.
Yeah. Now, there are a few years between Troy and
What breaks my heart is that he basically died after landing in Chicago and dealing with. Well, he had an opium addiction because of he had really bad pain in his hips. And the reason he had that pain was because of the splits he used to do and the dance moves he used to do in concert. But he had an opioid addiction, and that's what eventually killed him. And he died here in the Chicagoland area after a concert before he was. I don't know if he was alive when they sent him back to Minneapolis, but it was crushing. It was just crushing to be here in the Chicagoland area, hearing that he was in such dire straits and knowing he probably wasn't going to make it, and he didn't. Real quick, I want to say hi to Maria with T and Telly.
Maria, my sister from another mother.
Sister from another mister, because it rhymes.
But Mama Telly, she's
Telly.
amazing.
I dig it. Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, yes, I threw Prince on. But what I was trying to say is, though, I don't know how important music is to subsequent generations, but I know for Gen X it was very important. You were, and I
wait a minute, real quick. PitsnipeHusker 33. This was a film that was shown on cable. I was about that age when that was playing, so no one can give me any grief about it. But you're absolutely right. That was a whole lot of wrong, that movie.
You're gonna get into trouble. With that movie nowadays, that couldn't be made.
Oh, that's no. It's been edited up and down.
Anyway, it's okay.
But real quick, one more thing about Prince. if you follow Sherilyn Fenn on Instagram, she had actually once dated Prince, and she's still kind of hung up on him, and I love her for it because she's always posting photos and commentary on Prince at key anniversaries, let's just say it that way. And I was a huge Prince fan. He between 1999, Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon, Graffiti Bridge, many of which I've done rewatches on my channel. This man was a musical genius. He was a marketing genius.
Yeah.
Batman '89 soundtrack. There were 2 soundtracks for that movie because one of them was all Prince songs. The other was the score from the movie.
I remember the score and also the Elfman soundtrack. They both had different covers.
Yep.
The Prince soundtrack had the bat symbol. The Elfman soundtrack had the
big
bat wing
release,
across the moon. I remember.
Yes, the big release or the big breakout song for Prince from that from Batman '89 was Party Man.
Mm-hmm.
All hail the new king in town.
Yep.
Young and old, gather round, black and white, red and green, the funkiest man you've ever seen. Tell him what his name is. Party Man. Party Man.
Oh, he's just singing the whole song.
If you remember the scene in the movie, that's the Joker coming into the art gallery.
I remember that scene.
And
yes.
defacing all the, and Jack Nicholson. I haven't even finished the previous one that I have here. She just wants me to sober up.
I like the one part where he saw the one horrifying painting, and he's like, "I kind of like this one.
I kind of like this one, Bob. Leave it alone." Yeah.
Anyway, though, but what I'm trying to bring up is though that music was very important to Generation X.
Not to mention the MTV VH1 music videos that kind of fell away.
Who is this? Aerosmith? Is that who I have up here around? Yeah, I think so. I forgot.
That's who it looks like. Yeah.
Lots of.
Steven Tyler,
yeah, because I kept forgetting
a lot of big
hair bands.
Hair bands, yeah.
Is this Poison? Who did I pick here? Or is this Motley
Probably.
I don't remember now. I had it on my head last time. Because keep in mind, too, you would get quizzed on the music and you would have to know. Like, if you came off as a poser, it's not like today where you'd have people defending you for being a poser. You'd get attacked. I also seem to recall, and I could be wrong on this, but at least with kids my age, I thought you kind of had to be into the current bands. Don't be into your parents' music. Be into the current stuff.
Oh, see,
this
I was raised to go against the grain. I said, fuck all that shit. I wasn't into, well, I am more now, but back then I wasn't into the hair bands. I wasn't into the heavy metal. And I was very into my grandparents and my mother's era. So I was from the 40s on. The fact that the Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra thing is big on this channel, you can thank my grandfather.
To be fair, though, I will say that Tony Bennett and Mel Torme became popular among Gen X, which was interesting. Remember when they
Mel Torme became big,
kind
of was reintroduced because of Night Court.
Yeah. But even Tony Bennett would show up on MTV and the kids were liking him. So, I mean,
that is true. You're absolutely right. And then, of course, those that were into Deep Space Nine with, oh, crap. I'm forgetting the name of the character, forgetting the name of the actor. He was in The Time Tunnel. Anyway.
And of course,
he was portrayed as a fictional member of the Rat Pack. So, yeah.
Rap was becoming big, too, in the 90s.
And rap very much crossed racial divides. Because you had white rappers, you had black rappers.
Beastie Boys here, yeah.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys, right.
They were kind of all over there, though. And now I'm trying to remember. Oh,
You put the slide in here.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to remember now. Is this Pearl Jam?
James Darren, thank you. Deleted scenes. I'm too drunk to remember. James Darren, yes. We did in remembrance of him on Geeky
Pearl Jam.
Music.
Yes, I thought so. I thought I was covering the basics. There's Nirvana with Kurt Cobain. See that?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Even if you weren't like a music kid, you learned these bands through osmosis. It didn't matter because you still know. I remember being at a Weezer concert a few years back, and I could sing all the lyrics to the songs with the crowd.
Yeah.
Because even though I thought, well, I had a couple of their CDs, but I knew it all, and it was weird. It was like an osmosis thing.
Sure.
Of course, back then, these types of bands were known as alternative rock, which later I think the press would deride as grunge rock.
Whatever.
Here we go. I want to say this is Cypress Hill, right?
Beats
Were you listening
me.
to any of these? Okay. Anyway, well, you were.
Yeah, this is a little after my time.
I'm just saying, music was a big deal.
You are a little younger than I am.
All right. And I believe that's Red Hot Chili Peppers, if memory serves. Yes. So here we go. I went to Lollapalooza in '92. That was the big concert for all the alternative bands. I believe that is L7 or Babes in Toyland. I had one of them up here. Sorry. And now I'm sounding like the poser. This is bad. Cypress Hill. Yes,
the 90s.
There were girl bands as well. Yes. Red Hot Peppers. Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yes. And there's Weezer. Remember the Buddy Holly song? You remember the Buddy Holly song at least because of the Happy Days tie-in, right?
Oh, I remember the video.
Yes. They were at the cafe and everything. And of course, that's Curve. I have to put a British band in there because the British were doing a musical scene called shoegaze, which we also dubbed alternative back in the day. Then shoegaze was also another derogatory term for music, much like grunge was in the United States. Yeah. L7, yes. Okay, that's what I had up here. Sorry, these pictures are tiny too. That's why I'm not seeing them as well. But yeah, that was Lollapalooza. I was at there. There is a wonderful little documentary series on Lollapalooza that was on Paramount Plus, where your list is heavy on the '90s groups. I know it is because that's what I'm familiar with, whereas Troy was more familiar with the '80s groups.
Yeah.
I had.
Oh, dude, I'm actually big on the '70s too. So I mean,
well,
I could have contributed some stuff to that.
Well, I'm
too.
sorry. This was a surprise.
No. It's fine.
What? No, Rick Ashley or Billy Ocean? I'm sorry, dude.
Together forever and ever. No, yeah.
That's not. Okay. And of course, that's Mickey Barini of the band Lush, who is actually the daughter of one of the actresses who was in You Only Live Twice, a Bond movie. More on Bond on Sunday, but this is my favorite band of all time, Lush. And I saw them live at Lollapalooza in '92.
That's awesome.
I know you're not mad. It's fine. Like I said, I feel people forget about the '90s. They reminisce about the '80s, but the '90s was huge culturally as well. And kids were into music, a lot of bands, and luckily I did get to see Lollapalooza. And like I said, I am going to be seeing Billy Idol live. Of course, that's more of an '80s group and Joan Jett. But
Billy Idol or Billy Irish?
Billy Idol. That was the joke on Cobra Kai. Do you remember? He's doing the Uber
I haven't
driving.
seen the last season.
This is a few seasons ago. This is when he's having to get the job as a driver, right? Like an Uber driver or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And the teenage girls get in the back and said, "Hey, do you have any Billie Eilish?" And he says, "Hell yeah, I do." And then he sticks in a Billy Idol tape in his car.
That's funny.
But But moving on, I'm just saying that music was a big deal. It kind of defined you. In fact, I often
people don't understand how big a role music plays in your life.
Yes,
and this is the problem. You can't share this with people because if you didn't grow up with this music, you don't make the associations.
You don't get it.
Exactly.
Nephew has gotten into vinyl. He came home with Billy Joel the other day, and I didn't miss it. Okay, what does he say? Hold on.
I came home with Billy Joel the other day, and I got to explain to him pop significance.
Okay, great. The Battle of the Billies, Joel versus Ocean, winner.
Well,
fucking
it makes me
fights.
wonder because honestly, Billy Joel spans almost 3 generations, right?
Anyway,
I
yes.
mean, but everything about Billy Joel I love, you know.
Look, I was a kid. I didn't, to be fair, I didn't really start getting into music till later in life, like when I was in my later 20s, at least bands wise. But I was exposed to all this stuff, and granted, this was the time when I was busier playing.
Here's the question: when you're singing "Red Red Wine," which version are you singing?
Is that All of the Time? Is that song?
Yeah. Red red wine
Yes.
goes to my head. Who was it that popularized that in the 80s?
I don't recall.
Because people don't remember that was a cover of a Neil Diamond song.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was.
Oh, boy.
So there's that rap. Red, red wine, you make me feel so fine. You keep me rocking all of the time. Well, Neil Diamond ended up working that into his live performances just because that's why the song was popular. You know?
Yeah.
And to hear Neil Diamond rapping, dude. Oh, dude. That's just, oh my God.
That's as bad as William Shatner rapping.
Yes, she's absolutely right. Yes.
All right. So let's move on to.
Yep.
Oh, this was another.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Thank
on.
you, Jesse. It was UB40. Actually,
Okay.
DJ Play Nice got it first. Yes. I had forgotten that. I'm a little fuzzy right now, guys, so
We gotta speed through these. I gotta get up in the morning.
Windows 95.
You remember Windows 95?
Yes, I remember. It sucked.
What do you mean it sucked? This was a big deal when it came out. Remember, look at that.
Yes,
box.
it took way too much fucking memory.
Yeah, but get a bigger computer, dude.
No, they didn't have bigger computers at the time. It took up all of your memory, and no, fuck this shit.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I didn't really start using a Windows
I
computer.
was a DOS kid. I was a C prompt kid, and I was grateful for it.
Nope. We finally got a Windows PC, I think in 95, and we had the one that was prior to this, which was kind of neat because you could play a lot of the old DOS games through it, but Windows 95 came out, so some of those old Sierra games no longer worked. But I remember
you had to start archiving your computers. This is why I got 3 fucking computers in the other room there.
Anyway, this was my first
operating. And Metatron has fucking more computers than that because of the same reason.
4.
4.
Okay.
Well, one of them is my mom's computer. And
one of them was mine.
Anyway, I remembered this was a huge deal, and this was really the first OS I really learned on my own. I thought that Bill Gates did the big presentation. Matthew Perry was there.
God bless you. I learned not only DOS prompts. I learned how to program in BASIC.
No, forget that. That was more my dad.
I'm an old fart.
Look at those. What are those? Those are Windows.
Those are Windows.
See that lovely back screen? This was
separate
such a huge
Windows.
deal
Yes,
back in the day.
I remember that.
Look at this. This was like magic.
Netter just went upstairs and she's doing the heel toe.
I may not return.
Windows 95 drove her away. Windows 95 drove her away. 95. It was always okay. Everyone's mad about Windows 95. Let's look at some of the special things that were on Windows 95. Look at this.
Oh God!
You like this?
Yeah, I remember
this. Look at this prompt, man. What is that? Like it's giving you different things you can do. What is that saying? Restart and stuff, right?
Well, let's face it. There's a similar prompt like that right now.
Oh. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and go to. Remember the screensavers?
Oh, fuck the screensavers. I love the screensavers, but they took up too damn much memory.
Wasn't this the Mystery House?
Yes.
Wasn't that creepy, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica says, I got upset when the blue screen of death. There is a wonderful GIF, right?
GIF. Yeah.
Yes. That of I think it must have been lore, but it looks like Data, and like you see him, and like the blue screen of death comes on, and you see.
Well, we
his
don't know for
banging.
sure that Netters is going away. She went upstairs because she's having some
Sneezing issues.
respiratory distress. She
Okay.
can't breathe. She's going to blow her nose, and
DJ,
we'll see if she comes.
Flying toasters, come on, man! Flying toasters. I can't believe you're not even a little bit nostalgic for Windows 95. I'm very.
I had a lot of these screensavers. They took up way too much fucking memory.
Are no fun, man. Look at this. Look at this Solitaire. Look at Solitaire. You could choose the covers of your cards, man.
Okay, I'll tell you this about the Solitaire. The nice thing about Solitaire on Windows, no fucking commercials. Now if you want to play these fucking games, they got fucking commercials all the time.
Okay. Now, when I was first learning computers, the teacher encouraged us to play Solitaire. We even would do it at the end of a period sometimes in early college when I was taking Intro to Computers in college. And what I realized was Solitaire was to teach people how to use a mouse. It was very good at teaching people how to use a mouse. It was a neat, fun game you could play for something.
I dig it.
It also would help you learn how to use a mouse. In fact, when I was helping people at the library learn computers, I would give them a little mouse basics course, but I would encourage them, go play Solitaire, and that'll teach you how to get used to using a mouse. Yep. And but
I never thought about that. It's true.
But I don't know. I remember the old days of Windows and PCs and of course, introduction to this thing called the World Wide Web, and just the endless possibilities that stood in front of me with these devices, huh? You could get
World Wide Web. Was that when it was still dial-up?
Yes.
You'd have to dial into...
and it would make your phone busy. People couldn't ring you.
Bulletin boards. Yeah. And it was through your phone, so that if you were online, people couldn't call you. Yeah.
You having a Colt 45 there? It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyway, I'm thinking of Billy D. Williams and the Colt 45 commercials. He was so cool in those commercials. Anyway, did you prefer Windows 98?
I got to be honest with you. I wasn't fired up about Windows ever.
Okay.
Well, I was good with DOS, and when they introduced Windows taking up all the fucking system resources, I was like, there is no value to this. You know, I knew all the DOS prompts. I don't need this Windows bullshit.
Anyway, this was, of course, if you watch the movie Pirates of Silicon Valley, you can learn more about how
true.
Bill Gates ripped this off from Steve Jobs, and how Steve Jobs ripped off the mouse from Xerox. Everybody was stealing from everybody.
Bill Gates.
Anyway, moving on. Agent Boomer,
for all different reasons.
The AOC and sounds of the internet making the sound of. My brother used to say that was two computers talking to each other. That's what that was. Okay, next up, Saturday morning cartoons.
Dude, I used to love these. Yeah.
Look at this.
The Archies.
Look at that. Remember that?
Honey, honey,
This was a big deal.
You would get lay down now.
Give me a kiss.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be wrapping up soon.
Bye.
That's on.
Netter's drunk. So is Troy.
I don't know what he put in that drink, but I've never felt like this after he gave me a drink before. I feel like I've drank like 4 drinks.
It was a double, not a quadruple. It was a double.
Oh, that explains why I'm feeling all mooshed up.
Jugdad was a young...
I'll be up shortly.
Okay, I love you guys. Bye.
We're wrapping this up. Don't worry. But Saturday morning cartoons. Look at this. Look at this.
Mr. T. Everybody who had a cartoon on Saturdays also had a breakfast cereal. probably.
That was a good breakfast cereal. Maybe you didn't like it as much as me, but I like those sweet corn cereals.
They all fucking tasted like peanut butter pops.
There was also the Batman cereal when the Batman movie
came. The Batman cereal, the Mr. T cereal, the E.T. cereal, the C-3PO cereal. They all fucking tasted the same.
Okay. Anyway, you'd get up.
I'm not saying they were bad. I wasn't real into the sweet cereals, but they all tasted the same.
Did little Troy get up?
Oh, wait. Mario cereal, or maybe it was Donkey Kong cereal.
Donkey Kong cereal. They had little barrels.
Yeah.
Did little Troy get up on Saturday morning, get a bowl of cereal, and watch cartoons? This is what I want to know.
Well, I didn't always get a bowl of cereal, but when I did,
Pop-Tarts?
No,
cinnamon toast.
It was Cheerios.
Okay.
I wasn't a sweet cereal. I was
the plain Cheerios.
Yeah. And yeah, I watched all. Look, for me, it was Land of the Lost and the Croft Super Show.
Well, I should have thought of that actually, but
yeah, no, I was 70s, but yeah. Oh, the Smurfs. La 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 la. La 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 la.
So many men and only one woman in that tribe.
Are we almost there, Papa Smurf? Not much farther now. Are we almost there, Papa Smurf? Not much farther now. Are we almost there, Papa Smurf? Yes, we are.
We may have to do a part 3. We're wrapping this up tonight. Deleted scenes.
That's the plan, anyway.
This. We'll continue. Well, maybe we'll do a whole Friday night.
We're the Chipmunks. Alvin, Simon, Theodore. Do.
Chipmunks.
Never saw. I don't know what this is.
Oh,
I love the fact that you got the chip. What were they?
The Chipettes.
Yeah, the Chipettes.
I bet the glasses grew up to be really hot. That's my thinking.
Absolutely, she did.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. I always wonder too. What were they all matched with their type? Would Simon get with
yes, they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The Littles. I remember the Littles. I guess
we are the Littles. Yes, I remember that one.
What is a '90s cartoon?
It was a '90s cartoon. This was more my brother's era, but I was aware of it.
A '90s cartoon. I don't remember these being '90s cartoons because I think by the '90s I was watching Batman the Animated. Oh, Bobby. This is a '90s cartoon. I remember Bobby.
Based on
Howie
what
Mandel.
was his name?
Howie Mandel.
Howie Mandel's comedy sketch. Yeah. My name is Bobby.
Look, I don't normally go for cartoon character women, but I thought his mom was kind of hot on this show.
Well, yes. And every time my mommy puts me on the potty, I cry. And my mommy would say, Bobby, because that's my name. She'd say, Bobby, why do you cry every time I put you on the potty? And I'd say, Mommy, it's my potty and I'll cry if I
want to. that's he's a funny. Howie Mandel's brilliant. And he voiced him on the cartoon, as I recall.
Yes, he did. He absolutely freaking did.
All right. But, and I guess that's it for anything left to say about Saturday morning cartoons. We'll get to our last bit in a minute.
No, I mean, we could do a whole thing about...
We may cover this again on a Friday night sometime.
And...
We'll cover this again on a Friday night sometime. Maybe
we'll absolutely do.
We'll do a top 10 list, maybe. That might be an
Sure.
idea. You can do a top 5. I'll do a top 5. I got a lot of play just because I could do Bobby. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, and of course, the last thing is what we like to call political correctness.
That's where it started, right?
This was supposed to be a bookend for the whole thing, starting out with the baby boomers, and I don't necessarily agree with the comments in this article, but
I agree.
I'm gonna read, if I can even read this, because I don't know how to make the screen big.
Oh fuck! It's from Newsweek. I get it. Yeah.
But but this is from Newsweek
in the 90s. Police are inside of my head. Yeah.
But this is Newsweek kind of criticizing this idea of political correctness. That maybe
back when they did what they were supposed to do, yeah.
Yes. So that's what it was. And hopefully I can read this quotes. This was from an article. I don't know if this is a Newsweek article, but Gene Siskel. Okay. There's a whole new world called political correctness that's going on That is the death of the critic to participate in that. This is
Yep.
Gene Siskel.
Yeah.
You know, Siskel and Ebert. And I'm sure he was a guy that would consider himself a guy in the left back in the day. But this is him saying this. And I think
the thing was that beyond whatever his political affiliation was, he was also a critic.
Yeah.
So he kind of relied on intellectual honesty. And
yeah.
No, go ahead.
And what I find interesting was we had critics finally coming out and saying, look, I knew these movies were bad, but I didn't say anything about it because guys, I think they didn't like the haters online. I think it was the excuse they gave. And like, what are you talking about?
But back in the day,
just the message was right, but that's why you didn't.
Back in the day, they didn't give a fuck.
They didn't care about the message.
There was no internet. They didn't get the feedback from people. They said what was on their mind.
Yeah.
And left, right, center, wherever the fuck they were, they said what they thought. And if you didn't like it, fuck you. Because we're not even going to ever hear it.
Yes. And let me see. And political correctness is the fascism of the 90s. It is a rigid feeling that you have to keep your ideas and your ways of looking at things when very narrow boundaries, or you'll offend someone. This is Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert was a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, but he was still criticizing
back in the 90s. This idea that, look, what they called in the 90s political correctness, you probably call wokeness.
Woke now, yeah. And they were pushing it on Gen X, and I think, I don't want to say all Gen X, because obviously people became the professors eventually, and I'm not even going to say all professors, but obviously there were some Gen X that accepted it, but I think wholesale this was rejected by Gen X. I think they were trying to push it, and it just didn't fly. That or the war on terror interrupted the cause. That could have happened too.
Yeah.
This was from another article. I'm not blaming all millennials for political correctness, and I don't know if this writer is.
Well, it was generational, so we do have to say that. But
why do millennials love political correctness generation values? And this was a quote from that article. If I can read it, let me see.
The most powerful driver, however, may be the generational change, where boomers once sought to promote progressive values, millennials want to minimize hurt feelings. Holy shit, man. Where Gen Xers once touted resilience and grit, millennials tout tolerance and inclusiveness. Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, again, and I don't think I could even read that. That's too small. Now,
the most powerful driver, however, may be generational change. I don't know. You just took it away.
Oh, I'll get back. Sorry.
Give me a second for it to come up on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
The most powerful driver, however, may be generational change. Where boomers once sought to promote progressive values, millennials want to minimize hurt feelings. Where Gen Xers once touted resilience and grit, millennials tout tolerance and inclusiveness.
Okay. But anyway, this was just from that article, but it was a weird book.
The most powerful driver, however, may be... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm reading the previous one. Right?
No, this is the one after it.
Ultimately, millennials view political correctness not so much as partisan stance as it is a way of life. The crusades of emotional security in the classroom are a symptom of the much bigger movement underway to push the culture at large in a kinder, gentler direction.
Okay.
The sensitivity training sessions are, and less edgy comedians seen so often as at schools today, haven't been forced on students. They want them. holy shit, this is where we are now. That's absolutely true.
And that's sort of why I wanted to book in this. Now, of course, I'm not saying all millennials are like this. Plenty of them resisted. And I'm also saying that, but I do think that they were bombarded with this a lot more than we were, too, when they were growing up in school. And to be fair, I think some of the initiatives, the anti-bullying initiatives, probably started out with good intentions. But
PitsnipeHusker says, "Hey, drunk ass, read to us. I'm doing my best, fucker."
I'm sorry, I should have brought the slides up on my computer so I could read them. But anyway, though, is there another one? Sorry. This was all planned. I would have liked Michael's opinion on this, but what does it say here?
It says after a recent visit to annual convention where college students representatives evaluate potential comedy acts to bring to their campuses, author, who is this, Caitlin Flanagan, noted that the selection process, for better or worse, seemed wholly animated by kindness.
Yes.
What a difference a generation makes. Yeah, look,
it was all about being
kind. Comedy is not funny.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. Look, go back and watch George Carlin. He didn't give a fuck how you felt, and he was funny as shit.
But sorry, I almost lost my headphones there. Someone was making most of my
all love, Troy. Most of my comments are meant to elicit "Hey, you fucker!" Yeah. No, I get what you're coming from. I'm too drunk to be offended by any bullshit. Don't worry, man.
But Jessica Grotto says, "Troy, I don't remember any political correctness when it came to holidays." Well, that was it. I mean, they were wanting to get rid of the words like the, not using the word Christmas.
It was throughout the Gen X era that we got all the bullshit about. Look, this is when we invented, what was that holiday?
Kwanzaa?
Kwanzaa. Yeah, it's a fucking made up holiday to make certain people feel good.
It's like No, come on. There's Kwanzaa. There's
Festivus. Yeah, no. Festivus was actually a joke about that. It was this idea of a made up holiday to make people that felt disenfranchised to feel important. It's like, fuck you fuckers. Right?
But anyway, again, I'm not saying that all millennials are like this. They're a very large generation. They're a lot like the boomers in that sense. They're a lot more numbers than we did. But I real quick, I want to say I am not offended. You guys, you can joke at my expense. I am not that thin-skinned, right? I am Gen X. I'm not these later fucking generations. Okay.
They get all bent out of shape about bullshit.
See. What happened is the beginning of the thing was I was trying not to bash boomers. I was just saying, well, this is how we kind of saw. And then Michael came on, and then it turned into a free for all. And I don't want this to turn into a free for all from millennials.
Well, it's fine.
We're all equally messed up in our own ways, and I'm not even saying that these traits are yours. But I will say this is an author's observation back, I think, in 2015 or 2016. It does seem
like where we are currently in this country, possibly in the world, is a direct result of where we had been as Gen Xers. This whole idea of, feelings over reality, and we don't want to offend anybody. It's kind of degenerated to the point where we needed an administration to come in and say, fuck all that bullshit. The adults are back in the room, damn it.
All right, actually, I have
fuck your feelings. Let's deal with fucking reality.
All right. But ultimately, millennials view political correctness. This is the author of the article. This is not me saying this. Ultimately, millennials view political correctness not so much as a partisan stance as it is a way of life. Their crusades for emotional security in the classroom are a symptom of the much bigger movement underway to push the culture in a kinder, gentler direction. The sensitivity training sessions and less edgy comedians seem so often at schools today haven't been forced on students. They want them.
The problem is this leads itself so well to the whole Maoist, struggle session, Great Leap Forward socialist bullshit is what this is.
Well, here's what I think it leads to, especially when, and I notice this with all of our pop culture, as we often claim on here, the whole tearing down of heroes, not giving us heroic role models in our media anymore, right? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I think if you don't have the role models, and if you're so focused on being on not on adhering to this, I think in some ways it encourages cowardice. Now I'm not again.
No, you're
I'm
not
branding
wrong.
I'm not branding a whole generation, but I will say
no. Wait a minute. Let's back up by about 5 years.
Okay.
We spent 4 fucking years afraid to speak up online for fear of being canceled.
Yes.
It happened to Gina Carano, and we didn't want to go that route. We didn't want to speak up. We didn't want to speak what we knew was fucking true, and we just kowtowed to these fucking insane people who don't understand how gender works and how fucking reality works. And this is why we ended up where we are. And then we bring Trump back, and the vast majority of voters were like, thank fucking God. We got somebody who's going to actually do something.
Well, I was also thinking too in more basic terms, though. I my worry is people who are raised to adhere to this ideology, and like I said, I don't think it's the entire millennial, but they're a portion of them. I worry that when crap hits the fan, like in a situation, like in an emergency situation, that they may crumble because they've not been shown what courage looks like and how you're. I mean, I made a point that if we watch the movie High Noon, remember High Noon? And Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper is not dumb. Like he's afraid of what might happen, but it's not. Courage is not about not being afraid. It's about being able to push through your fear to do the right thing, whether that might be saving someone in an emergency situation or at least not climbing on top of your fellow person to save yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's basically where this boils down to.
Outlaw
Bare
Bill
minimum,
says
not putting others in harm's way during an emergency situation.
Outlaw Bill references my thumbnail when he says we drank from water hoses. We didn't wear helmets riding our bikes. We rode in the back of pickup trucks with no worries. This is true. We have become an age of people that want to, we got to mask up and we got to take the shot, whether it works or not. We got to protect ourselves, wrap ourselves in fucking bubble wrap. Where those of us of Gen X were like, dude, what doesn't kill us makes us fucking stronger.
Yeah. So again, I guess that's the point I put on all this, though. We did have political correctness, but it went away. Again, whether it was pushback from Gen X or whether it was because it just had to stop because we were focused on other things like fighting the war on terror and other things, I don't know. But it seemed to then take root, whereas I felt like at least with my generation, it was kind of considered a joke. And then suddenly I saw it taking root a generation later. Like it finally took root. And
this is absolutely true. Tim A says we really don't have to do jack shite at this point. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Your feelings are your own fucking problem. They are not incumbent on me to deal with. So fuck y'all.
Anyway, so that brings us out. Any last words on Gen X, though? Are you a proud Gen Xer? Are you?
I really am. Okay. I am pleased and proud of who I am. And if you are offended by anything I say, fuck you. That's how I feel.
But
why are you going backwards through all the slides?
I want pictures.
Okay, whatever.
Actually, I can't remove it. I would usually just remove it. Can we get back to the studio now, actually? Let's do that.
We could. No, that takes us completely out.
Then let's just leave it alone. Okay.
No, we can go back to this. That's fine. That's fine.
I'll just leave it on the.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta. Okay. There we go.
There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Yes.
So
What have
that's
we learned tonight? We learned that Freddy Krueger was the stuff of nightmares, right?
no. What we learned is that Boomer and Last Call of Troy Pacelli are fucking crotchety old farts that don't understand the modern generation, and fuck those assholes for not being able to keep up with the times, right?
But listen, before we attack anyone, just remember that a certain thing happened in the fall, that an election, that and
That is absolutely
there
true.
was a
I will
plurality
keep
in
pointing
charge.
this
So
out
yes,
that if you
so maybe we've
if,
all learned our lesson now. We'll see.
among voters, we chose a path that most people are happy with. You can say that wasn't the majority of Americans, but those that didn't vote can go fuck themselves. They gave up the opportunity to have their opinion, so fuck those assholes.
Okay,
I'm talking about the people that actually voted.
right. Anyway, we're not Germany, where they will attack you for
Oh,
calling a
geez, those
politician a
fuckers.
name. I'm sorry.
They have not advanced since World War II. They're still living under the goose step, for crying out loud.
It's a little terrifying over there right now. It's weird. I was reading up on, I guess, because I was trying to think, when did my German ancestors came over, and they were the ones, I guess, that were fleeing Germany in the 1850s. And it was interesting because apparently that was when Germany wasn't united, and I think
Did I say something that offended?
Who?
I don't know, man.
I'm sure we offended everybody tonight, but just remember.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you are Gen X,
you're a bunch of slackers.
You may be offended and you don't care. You're like, whatever, fuck you.
Remember they used to call us slackers?
I'll be back next week.
Remember they used to call us slackers? Slacker.
You slacker. Don't make me break my foot off in your ass.
Okay, anyway, so I think this well,
they used to. I don't know about now. They don't have the energy to build fuck all anymore. Because they got rid of coal and oil and all that bullshit. So they
did give the world the bratwurst. Of course, you can get those in the States now, so never mind.
Well,
anyway,
that's true.
I do love a good stadium brat. Anyway, so moving on though, what do we have going on this week?
Well,
tomorrow night,
I would encourage everyone to tune into coming attractions over on Deleted Scenes to know all the stuff he's got coming up this weekend, which is a lot.
Okay.
So let's focus on tomorrow night on Big Al Presents Films with Friends. I believe it's Silent Running. I think I got the film.
The one about the plants in space and Bruce Stern. I remember that.
Yeah. So that's 9 Central, 10 Eastern over on Big Al's channel.
Yeah.
Join us, me and Big Al and Netter, watching. For me, it's the first time. I've never seen this movie. So.
Oh, I don't want to say anything else about it then. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you haven't seen it. It's I
no,
saw that.
It had something to do with plants on spaceships.
That was an early Showtime movie that I saw as a kid. I'm not going to say anything more about it. Okay,
I didn't have Showtime early on. I had HBO.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that brings us to Sunday, where I'm sure there'll be a new unscripted from Deleted Scenes.
Right. Again, check out his coming attractions from last night. He'll tell you everything he's got coming up. But we got Geeky Geezers.
Geeky Geezers, where
together yet for.
Where it's actually a big British event, because we're talking about kind of the final downfall of the two big British pop culture heroes, Doctor Who and James Bond. So they've both been in the news this week.
Fuck it, they're over.
It's actually very depressing.
Yeah.
Go back and watch the old Doctor Who episodes. That's what you can do for now.
And as much as I loved Capaldi, let's just pretend that Doctor Who ended with Matt Smith. He didn't get another set of reincarnations, and that's it. He's done.
Maybe I'll pretend it ended with McCoy, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, okay.
Going back, there were parts of New Who I liked, but I think just the way it ended.
Maybe we need to do a Doctor Who discussion one night.
I'm very happy. Maybe we'll do. I could always do a Doctor Who Third Doctor discussion. Maybe I could do that instead.
Really? Okay, that would be fun. Yeah.
Well, no, because I'm watching the Third Doctor right now, and I really like Katie Manning, Joe Grant.
Oh yeah,
my favorite
Me
companion.
too.
She's like
too.
She's like perfect. But
Yeah,
I know a lot of people like Sarah Jane Smith. She came after, and she's great.
I liked her too. She
okay.
I there were things I hated about her. There were things I loved about her, and
she was a great companion.
On.
She's very iconic, but I do like Joe Grant the best. Yes. Who I think did finally guest star in Sarah Jane Adventure. She showed up on there.
Yeah, and then she, they touched on her later on. I think they made her gay or some bullshit like that. Just forget all this later Doctor Who bullshit.
She had a husband.
It's non-continuity. Well, that doesn't matter.
She fell in love with a handsome young scientist who reminded her somewhat of the Doctor, but he was a handsome young man. And she decided to go off with him. Yes. Anyway, what was I going to say? And then we'll talk about, unfortunately, the shenanigans going on with James Bond and Doctor Who this week. I think Doctor Who is not long for this world. And James Bond, well, the horror has just begun. Anyway.
Yeah.
Then, of course, on Monday night, you're going to do a movie, right?
So Monday night, I'm thinking about doing Source Code. I've got the DVD right here. I just recently got it. And yeah, I think I might do Source Code.
Okay. And then...
But again, remember, folks, if there's a movie you really would like to see on Monday night at the movies, shoot me a note. I'm open to suggestions,
Well, I want to do Nightmares at some point with you. That's going to have to be
what film?
Nightmares. Maybe when my semester is over, we'll have to do Nightmares.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah, let's talk about that.
It's an anthology horror movie. Emilio Estevez is in it. So is Lance Henriksen. It's a.
I'd be surprised then if I hadn't seen it, but yeah,
like 4 or 5 separate horror tales, and
cool.
Yeah, it's good. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Anyway, what else? There's also after Monday we have Tuesday night, and that'll be Sparkwood and 21, as I recall.
Yeah, I'm working on a summation of Secret History of Twin Peaks.
Excellent. And then after that, we'll have another episode of Blake 7 on your channel, correct?
Yep. I don't remember the name of the episode. It's the one that comes after Horizon. We are still in season 2 of Blake 7. Yeah.
Then, right after that, we are going to have, right after Blake's...
Both of these are very disturbing movies. But yeah, those absolutely have got to be added to my list. Thank you, PitsnipeHusker.
What's the other one?
Neighbors and 1943. Yeah.
I remember Neighbors. That was about mystery meat, as I recall. Anyway.
Something like that. Yeah.
Going on to Thursday on Netter's Network's Thursday Things. She got anything going on?
I don't know, and she's racked out, so I don't know.
Well,
but if she definitely tune in. If she doesn't have a guest,
exciting. If she doesn't have a guest, we'll figure something out.
It'll be an interesting chat show. That's what Thursday is. Yeah.
Well, I did say that at some point I'll pop on there, so we'll see.
And next Friday, I know what our chat's going to be. I'm going to have a very special guest, Sir Torrin Clegane, and we're going to be doing a little bit of talking about soap operas, which are better than you think. It's worth tuning in. It's worth tuning in next week and hearing our talk about
Finola Hughes involved at all in this stream?
Oh, we'll see. But we'll be talking about the daytime dramas. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely worth talking about.
All right. And that'll bring us back to that'll bring us back to, this will be 360, back to where we started.
Yeah, that's a week. That's all right. Week in review. So there you go, guys.
Y'all have a good week. Anything left to say, Mr. Pacelli?
Nope, I'm drunk as a skunk. So
you gotta roll the credits. I
have had a lot of fun, and I super appreciate every single one of you. Guys, I thank you for all of your support, for all of you that hit the like button, shared out the stream, all the super chats, the members. You guys you guys don't realize, if anything, and it can happen at any time because I'm a contractor. If anything happens to my my contract, I'm going to try to make YouTube my job, and that'll depend on you guys supporting me. It really will. And can you imagine if you guys like what I do now, and this is like part-time, can you imagine if I did this full-time, how good this could be? You know, so
Exciting
who
stuff.
knows? Maybe we're looking forward. This is going to be a great year, I think. So there you go.
All right.
Any last thoughts from you, Boomer?
Nothing. I guess it's great hanging with you guys, and we'll have an exciting stream next week. You want to roll the credits, though, right? I don't think I know how to do that.
I do. Let me go ahead and do that. Guys, you take care, and you know what I'll just do is I'll take us out, and see you on the next one. Take care. How do I do this? There we go.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.
The neon lights are fading, closing time is near. Whispers in the corners, secrets shared sincere. The bartender's polishing the final glass. Time slips away like moving through the grass. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, from me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun. Here's to the laughter and to what's begun. The shadows are dancing as we linger still. Every clink of a glass, a memory to distill. Beneath this smoky haze, our feelings they unfurl. A tapestry of whispers in this corner of the world. The jukebox serenades us with a final tune, crooning to the lonely and the lovers under the moon. With every soft note, the end draws ever near. But in this fleeting moment, there's nothing to fear. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, for me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun.